Hey guys, how are you? How are you? This is Mr. Argueta coming to you week number 6. Oh wow. So we are at that point where, as I mentioned early on in our semester, this class will go by very quickly, and it has. I see that in a lot of your responses to my video. I want you to know that I read every single response, so I appreciate it. Thank you for the comments of how these videos have helped you. That's kind of why I do it. Some of you mentioned that, it makes you feel like you're in class, or it feels like more connected with me, with the class itself. So I think that's wonderful feedback. Thank you for that. I appreciate it, and it motivates me to do the video because I feel like there is a immediate response from you. Where if I didn't hear anything from my students, then I would feel like there's no point in the video. So thank you for responding. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your discussions. Last week's discussion was wonderful. 99% of you guys do an amazing job. You do fantastic. You're in it for the right reasons. You're learning, you're growing, you're becoming better at your profession, or you're preparing for your profession. There's tons of you who have mentioned, that this has kind of helped you in looking at things from a different perspective or self-analyzing, which is what I was hoping for in the beginning of the semester. So it's been a great experience for me as your instructor, as your professor, and I hope it was an experience for you. So before I forget, I want to let you know that I have been assigned the leadership class for C term. If you have not taken leadership and you would like to take it with me, then definitely feel free to register for that class. There's still time to register. That won't start till October 9th. But I'll be the instructor. The format's going to be very, very, very similar to what you see here. Obviously, the content of that class is different. We zoom into leadership, styles of leadership, and we'll have some self-analyzation tools as you've had in this course. But the videos will be according to that topic, but it'll be like what you're used to here. So if you like the style that I have and you like what I've done, then I encourage you to sign up for that class. There's only like 5 or 6 seats left, so they're going quickly. I think last I checked, it was like 40 something, 46 people out of 50 enrolled. So if you want to get a seat, please do so. And by a seat, I mean a spot in our online format. Um, that being said, let's talk about this week's discussion. This is my favorite discussion because it gives you an idea of a roadmap. So let me just share quickly with you. When I was going through my undergrad, I took a focused study on what would be communication and nonverbal communication and speech and all that stuff, and developing speeches and all that good stuff. And I'm sure you guys at some point in your career in education will go through a similar path. One of the things that we had to do in our speech, besides a persuasive speech and informative speech and all these different styles, one of the weird ones that I had to do was called your own obituary. So, ironically, and as crazy as it sounds, the instructor, which I model a lot of my style to, really went outside of the box in his style of teaching. And the professor challenged us to create an obituary for ourselves. Like, what will we want people to say about us when we're gone? And I know that sounds pretty dark, but it really helped me put a roadmap together for me. And I adapted that concept. And of course, as you will see in the video with Dr. Potash, obviously I don't want to give too much away because I want you to be intrigued enough to go watch the video, but it's a very interesting video. And it made me think, how do I encourage my students to put a roadmap out there? What's your goal? What's your short-term goals? What's your long-term goals? Believe it or not, I live off of this principle. This is my goals for the day. And this is the day before, and so on. If I go through this sort of book, you'll see that every day I come in here and I put goals together, and I that's what I do. I try to accomplish my goals, and I try to get my sort of short-term daily game plan, weekly game plan, monthly game plan, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, blah, blah, blah. And I know that doesn't work for everyone. Like your style might be different, but it works for me. And I think it's important for you to take some time, analyze where you're going with this. As I've mentioned before, yes, I was a student too. And yes, you can literally try to cheat your way through the system and hope not to get caught. I get that, but you're only cheating yourself because the real world, they're gonna realize that they're gonna realize that your degree is not worth what you think it's worth. But when you put the effort and the time and you pay the price, not only will you be proud of yourself and your work, but people will know. People will know that when you speak authority and power and knowledge and worth, and you're not just speaking to say something. And that's the students I want to be a part of. That's the lives I want surrounding me. I have students that have graduated, that have moved on, have gotten their masters, who are doing extremely well. Extremely well. And then I have students that come back and say, oh, I couldn't get a job, I couldn't do something. And I can tell the quality of student, and I can really tell the quality of student based upon their feedback in some of these discussions. I purpose my class that way because if you can speak well and you can write well, people are going to realize that in the real world. And believe me when I tell you that you can fool some people, but you can't fool everyone. You cannot fool everyone. So there's got to be a place in your life where you come to look at education as valuable. And I hope that I inspired that in you. As I've mentioned, as many of you responded, I love what I do. I love what I do, and I love what I do because I get to be a part of your journey. And to a certain extent, that makes me feel fulfilled. It makes me feel complete. I've had the opportunity to live through this process, and as many of you, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to go to school. I wasn't given a free ticket and a free ride. I struggled through it. I struggled in looking up how to do different things. Going through the process was not easy, but I paid a price, and I'm proud of it. And I want you to be proud of that. Also, I want to make sure that you understand that this discussion will be the last one you do where you respond and be graded for. Next week is our final week together. I will post a goodbye video, and it's just basically just a closer, just to say thank you for everything that you've done, all your hard work. I see you doing it. I acknowledge that you have lives happening simultaneously. You have responsibilities. You have jobs. I get it, guys. I know that this isn't easy, but it's freaking worth it. So I encourage you to finish strong. Finish positive, really analyze yourself, get a good roadmap out there. I also included my speech that I gave at the state of Georgia. I was going to put up the one I gave about my students in Congress, but I can't find it right now. But I encourage you, if you have time, this is not a requirement, so you can understand why I do what I do. You've heard my story. I've told you from day one who I am. I've been very open. I try to be transparent, and I think that would close the cycle or bring us back to the beginning with that video. And that's just a speech I gave when I received a 2019 Georgia Teacher of the Year award. But it's about you. It's the bottom line. It's about you. So I'm here for you. I hope I've demonstrated that. I hope that I've connected with you guys at some level. This is not my final goodbye, but it is the final goodbye where you can respond to. So I appreciate all the effort. I encourage you to connect with me if you have a LinkedIn, or I do have Facebook. It's open to the public. I don't put anything that's controversial out there. I just share my life. I share what happens in my life. It's nothing too personal. But if you want to connect that way, I have many students that have. You're welcome to do that as well. I don't have any of the other ones. All the other platforms are too much for me to keep up with. But I do keep Facebook that I've had for years. As you can tell, my white beard, I'm an old guy, so I don't have time to keep up with all the other socials. But there it is, guys. Stay connected. You might need a reference. My rule on reference is if you've done a good job, and by good job I mean a B or above, and we've somehow connected. You've emailed me. I recognize who you are. I can remember your information. I can remember your name. I've seen your work. Then I'll be more than happy to be a reference for you. Many people, when they finish my courses, they'll say, I would love for you to be my mentor. That's something that happens based on effort on both of our parts. If you want to connect with me and you want to get to develop a professional relationship, I'm more than open to that. So guys, I wish you the best of luck this week. This is one of my favorite topics. I think it's so important for you to know where you're going, short term, long term. Create a purpose statement for you and know why you're doing this, because the rest of this journey is not easy, but it's worth it. So I always go back and tell my students, you have to have a reason of why you're doing this, and this is your opportunity to discover that. So it's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. I'm excited to continue to get to know you guys. If you are in the leadership class coming up in the C term, it's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see you there. Guys, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Someone said, hey, you didn't mention coffee last week. I just finished my coffee for the day, or for the morning, I should say. And probably not till about 2 or 3 o'clock will I be doing another cup of coffee. So that's it, guys. Other than that, I'm getting ready for lunch. I don't know if you can see my lunch back there or not, but I brought in a sandwich and a banana. I got my cup of my water, a big jug of water that I drink. And that covers it. I'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Bye.